sort of puzzle games and casual games and little fun sort of toy games and whatnot. But every week, a new game. So Monday morning, it didn't matter what they did the previous week. Boom, they start fresh, new idea, new concept, and it says here they made 50 games, in one semester. 50 games. I mean, how many games have you guys made? I mean, it's crazy, and I think one of them involved. It's not even a programmer. I mean, it's not like these guys are super proficient at programming or whatever. But you can go to gamasutra.com and find it. So the interesting thing is, one of those games, one of those 50 was this one, Tower of Goo. And I don't know if anyone's familiar with Tower of Goo or World of Goo, but extremely successful, extremely popular casual game, online game sold through Xbox Live and I think Steam, a few other locations. They won several contests and festivals, and through this process where, on their own they kind of created 50 games in one semester, that one got a lot of attention, and those students, they got a publishing deal, an actual deal to create that particular one. I mean, I have not actually seen the other 49. I'm sure some of them were okay, most of them were probably garbage, but this is the one that actually was cool and really stuck. And now they're an independent studio creating small sort of puzzle, casual style games. Okay, so this is another guy from Finland. His name is Petri Purho. This is a picture I took of him at the Game Developer Conference. He created a game called Crayon Physics Deluxe. And that's a sort of it's bad on the screen, sorry. Anyway, so very, very innovative game. It also won, I think, the next year, the Independent Game Festival and several other contests. It also, because of that exposure, he got a publishing deal. He's just by himself. But the key thing is he made a new game, in this case, every month. Every month, on his own, not related to his his work or school or anything like that. He sort of gave his own challenge of making a completely new game every month. He gave a presentation in Montreal a few years ago, and he admitted, he's like, I'm kind of crap. Like I'm not a good designer, so I need to force myself to sort of try and experiment and test and do something new and different. In his case, he did it every month. He actually put the games online for free to his website. I mean, this wasn't sort of a business effort initially. It was just him sort of having fun and trying out his design and programming skills and so on. And he wanted feedback from the community at large and his friends. And this one, again, unfortunately, it's a very bad screenshot. It's not coming up well on the screen. But everyone's attention. Everyone loved it. Thought it was fantastic. And so he entered into the contest and it won. And now he's actually producing it for commercial release. I think it is released, but so from this idea of experimentation and sort of discovery, came that particular project. Sorry, Braid. So this is John Blow, independent developer, talks very much about this idea of experimentation, pushing boundaries. He's the one who created Braid, which was the previous picture. Extremely successful independent game, both commercially and critical acclaim. He does a lot of this stuff about experimentation, testing ideas. He does a session at the Game Developers Conference called the Experimental Gameplay Workshop, where designers and developers sort of talk about all these experiments they have. Some of them were successful, some of them were unsuccessful or failures, and the designers sort of talk and explore and discuss those failures. And largely that's what led him to create Braid. And actually, he along with a few other guys worked on something called the Indie Game Jam. And I'm not sure if the whole jam concept is familiar. In this case, the original Game Jam was in a barn. It was on the top floor of a barn in California, and a bunch of smelly designers and developers locked themselves up for a weekend in the barn and gave themselves 48 hours to create games. I think they created maybe 24 different games, and then they presented them at the GDC, the Game Developer Conference. And this idea of the Game Jam became very popular, and there were other jams around the world, and then last year, there was the first what's called the Global Game Jam. where, I forget the numbers from last year, but they actually just did it again the second year a couple of weeks ago, where they had over 4,000 participants, programmers, artists, designers, musicians, etc., all over the world. I think in something like 130 or 140 different schools and locations all over the world in like 25 countries, something like that. And in the span of 48 hours, they created almost 1,000 games. I mean, small-scale games, right? We're not, again, you guys aren't making Halo in a weekend. Small-scale games. But what's happening is those games are getting attention, some of them anyway. Last year, a couple of the better games that were created during that weekend actually got distribution deals, actually got publishing deals and funding to create a commercial release of the game. This year, I don't know. I mean, it literally just happened a week or two ago, so it's a bit too soon to tell. But again, this idea of creating a massive quantity of stuff, and experimenting and exploring intentionally, and taking those risks. Okay, that's Little Big Planet. So these are two of the folks from Media Molecule. That's the developer that created Little Big Planet for PlayStation 3. That's Alex Evans and Siobhan Reddy. Last year, they won almost every industry award. And the guy Alex, I saw him at every event, like running up and down the stairs to go get his trophy constantly. And they created, of course, Little Big Planet, and they were a very small team, only about 35 people at peak, and they created a massively innovative, hugely successful game, and the development process itself kind of adopted this idea of quick iteration, of experimentation,